study, a good interesting case study.
Well, do we want a pay-per-click one, an SEO one, a social media one? Social media case study. One of the things that we've been able to do for one of our clients is use social media techniques and tactics to add thousands of new links that are legitimate, relevant links, passing link juice from bloggers and other places that Google loves, that is helping a client rank on phenomenally difficult keywords in the self-pay medical procedure space, a certain kind of eye surgery. And it's a wonderful benefit because they're not only getting the Google rankings, which are very measurable and very monetizable, humongous ROI, but they're also getting the traffic. And because of the consumer ratings and reviews, they're getting the credibility and authenticity, so when people go there, they're actually more likely to convert because, you know, more and more, I mean, it's kind of the wisdom of crowds. I mean, we humans, very few of us are wired to be data creatures. We're wired to be case study, campfire story, pattern recognition creatures. And what that means is a lot of us, when we're buying, are looking for an aggregation of stories, not an Excel spreadsheet that actually says, you know, 792 out of 1,000 people surveyed said this. They want the words, they want the context, and social media provides that.
So that's a great case study. So how many followers and how many people do you follow on Twitter, and what's your Twitter username?
That's a great question. I log into Twitter right now about once a month, and I've been told that I need to keep by my team, because my team are digital natives. Yeah. You know, I'm a digital interloper, and when I apply myself to something, a fast learner, I'm not a native. I'm told that I need to manage my ratio of people following me to people I follow so that the numerator is far higher than the denominator. Yeah. And so I think I've got, I've got like 5 times as many people following me as I am following. I'm somewhere between 50 and 100 followers, and I don't even know my username because I think I've hooked up Facebook so it's automatically alerting Twitter, or maybe the other way around. But I do all my stuff in Facebook, really.
Facebook, okay.
Facebook, yeah, I'm old school. I'm an old guy.
Facebook is phenomenal growth. What's their secret in terms of a social network, and what do you think it would take to get like a regional social network, say for just Austin? What would that take?
Well, it's going to have some kind of compelling difference that you can't do within Facebook is the tough thing. Because there already are groups for every local community within Facebook. There have been some attempts in Austin, like some attempts around the music community, some attempts around other things. So if you could find a big enough interest group, you can do some interesting social things. Meetup, in a sense, is a social network of a type where you can form groups and communicate with folks that typically are either thematically or geographically or both organized. Facebook learned a lot from MySpace, which learned a lot from Friendster. You know, sometimes there's a huge advantage in not being #1 in the marketplace. Wait till someone else writes a bunch of old crappy code and then come in with the newest technology and the cleanest interface like a laser. I mean, Facebook's almost classic chasm theory, you know, where find a beachhead that someone else wasn't, and they found colleges. MySpace was immediately post-college. And then they moved from colleges to high schools. They got to such a critical mass of users there that they then had a defensible base before they expanded. And by that point, MySpace had already gone down the monetization path and was looking a little bit long in the tooth, and Facebook had a snazzier interface and new features, and MySpace was kind of starting to feel a little tricked out, like the old days of Angel Fire or some of the, you know, I look at all these things, I'm saying we had a lot of that actually back in the mid-90s. You know, with all the free web page sites that had pictures, and some of them actually had video over dial-up, which was really painful, and music over dial-up, some of them. But, you know, this is just bringing these into a Web 2.0 environment, and other folks would say that you know, those things were just bringing news groups into a more graphical environment themselves. I mean, we've had social media around in one form, and this is something Lipkowski would tell you in a heartbeat. You know, social media has been around since even before the days of the well. Right. It's only now been relabeled and called social media, and you look out here and, you know, you can't throw a rock without hitting a social media expert that started learning about it 2 weeks ago.
Right. So mega social networks like Facebook. We've got microblogging on Twitter. What's the next? What are the next trends that you see? What's coming up after microblogging and mega social networks?
Great question. I mean, I'm not enough of a futurist to say what are we seeing 3 or 4 years out, but the very powerful things that I see in the fairly near future are more and more social networks. I mean, Facebook already has an iPhone for Facebook app, but more and more social media things that are happening via texting and microbrowser format, more and more locational connections with the GPS chip in this around Facebook and other social media networks. And I'm also seeing Google taking its first steps to getting more aggressively in the space, where, you know, in some of their betas and other things, they're actually asking their users who are logged in to Google to rank the various web pages and kind of add a user overlay to the human or to the machine search algorithm. So a little
big or delicious or something.
Exactly. So a little bit more of a blending between machine and human on the core search area, social and search converging. So those are some of the things that I think will ultimately reshape a lot. In terms of how verticalized social networks are going to be, I don't know. I mean, you got some funky things out there like Active Rain, which is a blogging network for realtors and whatnot. But people have been predicting vertical search for a long time, saying, well, we're going to beat Google by really owning this vertical. And by and large, that hasn't taken off. You know, the horizontal algorithms have been good enough, and so it may well be that 2 or 3 massive social media networks like Facebook and MySpace end up just having so much in the way of features and functionality that it can't compete.
That's a player in the search.
It is, but to me, that's the goal. There is, you know, have it be act bait. I mean, if these guys still have Uzi 2 years from now, they're not raising enough capital to really make it a competitor to Facebook. They're raising enough capital to get enough eyeballs so that Facebook or someone buys them at a good clip.
They're bait, in other words.
Bait.
Yeah.
And potentially attractive, flashy bait.
Right. So anyway, we've been talking to
Bill Leak, Apogee Search.
ApogeeSearch.com.
ApogeeSearch.com. Apogee-search.com.
Final words?
Go out there, have fun, learn about it. You know, you dip a toe in the water and a line in the water, and you know, yeah. If you're not ready to participate, start lurking, and then easiest way into social media, start commenting on other people's blogs. You can crawl, walk, run this. Anyone can do it, even me, and I'm old.
That's great. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right. Hey, can I talk to you just on? You were so far away that I don't think that the camera picked you up, so I just wanted to ask you a couple questions, okay? What's your name again?
It's Amy Lemen. I'm a freelance writer.
For
consumer and trade publications, and then I also do some copywriting and ghostwriting.
And see, I was way back there, and you were asking a whole bunch of questions, and I don't think the mic picked them up, so maybe you could tell me what you asked and what you got back out of it.
Okay. Let's see. The questions I asked were around don't discount the value of freelancers, because a lot of times you're not going to get through traditional media otherwise. A lot of times it's better to look at a magazine and see if there's an opportunity for a freelance pitch, because those folks are always looking for ideas. Sometimes traditional media is not always the way to go when it comes to looking at the masthead. So you need to look at the people who are making their bread and butter actually pitching those magazines.
So what did you get back? That's what you asked. Now, what did you get back? Did you get some good information back from Giovanni?
I did, and I also got a lot of questions around that. So, but yeah, his presentation dovetailed exactly what I was saying. So it was more be proactive. It's more about what you can do for the reporter, not necessarily what they can do for you in terms of getting ink or anything like that, because that's sort of a misnomer. I mean, it's more like you've got to help them out. And then when they are doing a story on something that's in your particular space, then you're the first person they'll think of.